What up, everybody? This is your boy Busy, back at you again with another Busy Bee Garage tip. This little thing right here, no, ladies, this is not an earring. This is not the new style earring, okay? This is a ring for your pistons. It goes in your car. So, fellas, if you're following me right here, I'm gonna show you how to gap these things perfectly to where these things do not touch while your engine is running, because this touch while it is running, I can guarantee you it's gonna seize the piston inside your block, and all kinds of nasty shit is gonna happen. I mean, you may end up breaking the connecting rod. You may end up blowing a hole in the piston. When you're running this ring here, and this is the oil ring, this ring here goes on this second line right here. Let me get a little closer. Right here on this second line right here, it goes there, and you don't want this thing here to touch, because like I said, if it seizes in that combustion and all that heat friction is sliding up and down that board and this thing touch, I guarantee you're gonna seize your piston inside the block. So a little helpful tip is to actually put this ring inside the block, and I'm gonna show you that in a few seconds. But you put this inside the block, kind of get a little measurement on it, and you see what a ring gap is for it. And then if you think you need to shave it. I would say shave it anyway, because don't shave it too much. Don't shave like too much of a big ass ring gap, because you're gonna lose a lot of compression. But shave it just enough to get your compression up to where this does not seize together. So if you look at my gap on it, that's a pretty huge gap, right? But once I put it inside the engine block, it's gonna change. I wish I could flip this thing around. It's not letting me. I used to know how to work this damn phone, but I'm gonna show you how to put it in here. And you just put this inside the bore or your block, and you're gonna measure this gap with it being inside the bore. So let's go ahead and get into it and see if we can get you some light. I probably can't, but you're gonna put this in here. I thought I stopped the filming. So you're gonna put this inside here, like so. All right. Now, you probably can't not see the gap, but it is very, 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 very small. Let me get you guys some light. I'm gonna get you guys some lighting so you can see this ring gap. And this is what I say: gap your rings, because even if you're running a turbo or nitrous, gap your rings, okay? That is very, very important. So if you're doing a rebuild, always gap your rings, okay? Here we go. Got a light. So what you're gonna do is, if you see the gap right there, you see how it's really, and it's kind of offsetted. So I'm gonna fix it with the piston so it'd be flat inside that bore, so you can see what that ring gap looked like, okay? But you see where it's at though, right? All right. If you guys are following me on this, you guys are gonna see what it looked like. So you're gonna take your piston here, you're gonna slide it down in the bore to get a little flat ring or a flat surface. and you're gonna check that ring out. Look at that ring out now. That is no good. That is no good if you are running boost or nitrous. I guarantee you'll blow up your block. So what you want to do is make sure that gap is just big enough for it not to touch. All right, so I'm gonna show you how to gap that ring to the right perfect standards. Okay, so let's go ahead and slide. We're gonna slide this ring out of here. All right, yeah. Slide this out of there, and I'm gonna show you how to gap it. Now, I did end up buying a I want to say a gapping tool, but I don't know what I did with my other stuff. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna find us a fouler, and I did. You know what I did? I bought some. So what we're gonna do is make sure this, and this is your oil ring. You want to gap. You can gap your top ring as well. Just be careful because this is a little harder. This is the top ring that goes at the top of the piston at that very first line when I was showing you guys this 1 and 2 and 3 slit holes. Well, this one goes in the very first slit hole. This is just it's another oil ring, but it's really not that important. This is the one that's important because if you look at the width of that thing, let's see if we can line you up here. Well, if you look at the width of that one and then look at the two different sizes, right? So this one here, and y'all gotta excuse me while I'm being so jittery because I had got off work. I've been at work all freaking day. Like I went to work at like 4 o'clock this morning, and man, like I didn't get off until like 2:30. So it was a good 10-hour day, laid back, easy money, as most people would say, easy money. But yeah, it was like easy money today. But yeah, I went. So y'all gotta excuse me. So I'm just showing you the difference in between these rings here because one is thinner and one is thicker. And I don't know if you can see it very well, but I'm gonna try to get this thing to focus. All right, so if you can see it, this one here is a little thicker. This goes at the top of your piston, and this one here goes on the second line on your piston. So this is piston slot number 1, piston slot number 2. You have another set of rings with a actual ring seed, and those you really don't have to worry about gapping those because those are way too thin and then way too frizzy. So you don't have to really worry about gapping those. Even the one that's in the middle, and I'm going to show you how to put that on as well. I think I do have a video on that. You can actually go to my YouTube channel, check me out, give me a couple thumbs up, thumbs down, subscribe, tell your friends, don't know. If you want to tell your local mechanic, hey, go for it. But you can catch my YouTube channel on Busy Bee Garage, and you can catch this video here on my Busy Bee Garage. But today I'm just showing you the difference in between both of these rings. One is a little thicker and one is a little thinner. This one here is gonna give you the most freaking headache if you don't gap this thing right, okay? Because like I said, you can your engine can be running and this can seal up, and like I said, if it seals and touches, you know, if that thing touches while that engine is running, I guarantee you, you're gonna have a real bad day, and you don't want to have a bad day. So make sure you always gapping this ring here. You can gap this one as well. I would say gap both of them, so that way you will have a very good gapping in between the both. And then the other three rings, you really don't have to worry about gapping, because those are just for the oil to actually seep back down into your bore and get back down into the actual oil pan. But these are is going to be your most two, but this is going to be your headache here, I guarantee, because this is your compression ring. This right here will give you a freaking headache. This one here, this is more of your oil, I will say more of your oil condensity pressure ring, I want to say. But it does have an effect on your pistons as well. So like I say, make sure you're gapping both of these things at the right gapping, because like I said, if this should actually touch, and I mean if these actually touch, you're gonna have a real bad day. So gap them. Make sure you have the right size gapping. You guys seen it in my engine bore, and I'm gonna actually show you right now how to gap them. So give me a second. All right, so I'm back. um, I do have my trusty guy right here. I love this guy. This thing right here does miracles for mechanics and construction and remodeling. I just did a bathroom install in my guest bathroom, and I actually used this to actually cut out the fiberglass of the shower nozzle, and because the new shower faucet seal or knob, it was pretty much dried out. Like I said, my landlord never thought about actually changing that thing within a couple of years. So you guys do need to watch out for that if you're gonna actually rent some or rent a house from a person that has not checked that. So if you're having like I'm not saying like loss of water pressure, but if you notice that your water pressure or your water is coming out like kind of frizzy, well, that thing needs to be changed, the whole knob, and that's gonna actually cost you a couple of $100 if you have a actual construction guy to come out and do that job. I did it because I was growing up around a whole bunch of entrepreneurs. You guys gotta excuse me. They got the fire ambulance, the police done ran by, the ambulance done ran by. Like I said, these guys they working around the clock. So shouts out to the fire department. Shouts out to the AMTs out here, man. They actually doing their job. So, but yeah, this I'm gonna use this right here to gap my rings. So that way you guys can actually get a little clue yourself of how to gap your rings. First we got to get this thing off, right? Let's get this thing off. So let's get this thing here off. I got a gang of two, I ain't gonna lie. And that's another thing, guys. Go invest into the tools to do your projects. Don't be running around with no pliers talking about, yeah, man, this can get it. And you're going to be sitting there for then about 4 or 5 days getting that one boat out. All right. So invest into some tools, get your tools up, and then go and do the job. I'm just trying to find a actual bit or a I had one. I don't even know where it's at now. But I had a bit. And I gotta find it now. So if you guys are still with me here, just bear with me. Cause like I said, I got a whole bunch of freaking tools. And it's hard to find one. I am going to invest into a toolbox. I am. Check out my little Hercules bag. That guy right there, I bought him at Harbor Freight. Sorry for it being so dusty. It done been to the junkyard at least twice. I had that thing at the junkyard with me. And I was getting my cylinder head. And the thing flipped on me, so sorry about the dirtiness of the bag, but that's just standard when it comes down to being a mechanic. You're not a real true I always say you're not a real true mechanic if your hands ain't dirty, because if your hands ain't dirty, you ain't did shit. So I think I got one. Let's see. Yep. Damn, Jesus. This thing is hard. Good Lord. Okay, so I ain't that strong like I used to be. So we're gonna do this right here. There we go. All right. Take that right on out of there. All right. And I'm going to put this bad boy on. But first, it looks like we're going to have to take this guy off. All right. Like I said, guys, I got a whole bunch of tools. So, take that right on up there. So like I say, what you want to do is make sure that thing is in there nice and flat like that. Get this bad boy here on top. And you finna make it do what it do with ring gapping. So what you want to do is get this thing here plugged in. And once you plug them in, you're gonna take your oil ring first. You're gonna do your oil ring first. And the only way you can identify if it's an oil ring, it's gonna have a marking on the ring. And this is my oil ring. I'm gonna show you how to identify an oil ring. You see that little dot right there? You probably can't see it, but there we go. Bam. All right. There's a little dot. All right. Right on this ring. And you can see it right there. A little dot right there. You want to make sure when you put this on your piston, all right, make sure that that dot is facing up, never down. So, like I said, make sure that dot is facing up, because if you don't, you're gonna have a really another bad day, and you don't want to have that done, right? So make sure this dot is up like this on the piston. This is the top of the piston, and make sure that dot is facing this way up. Okay, but let's get back into some ring gapping. How you will want to ring gap this, you can do it so many different ways. I do it this way because it's easier for me, and I can hold this on there, or I can just slide it in and kind of do one of these numbers here and let it go from there. Always, if you're doing this, always have you some safety goggles. So safety is first, guys. All right, got my glasses. Look cool now, right? There we go. Safety is always first. So you start this thing here up. And this is a good way of doing this without having to go and find out like what is what, how you do it. And this is a good way of doing it. And then what you do is you're just gonna slide this back in the bore and see how big that gap is, right? So we're gonna do that right now. Let's go see. Let's go see. We only need a bigger light, right? So, looking at my little camping gear here. You guys gotta excuse me because I'm in my camping shit too. I need some light. You need some light. So, what you want to do is make sure that. Oh, where are you going? Look here. Got a light right there. Ain't that crazy? Harbor Freight, $4.99, baby. You can't beat it. So what we're gonna do is you guys got excuse me because it done got dark out here. We're gonna take this thing here. Then you probably still can't see me. Now you can see me, right? We're gonna take this light here and we're gonna hang it somewhere so where we can put this ring in, and I can show you how to put that gap in there. So let's go ahead and put it in there, and then we're gonna check it out, right? All right. Now, if you guys are still following me on this, now that gap looked like it done got a hell of a lot bigger, didn't it? Yeah. And you guys can see the gap, but I'm gonna stick my piston back in to get it flat and flush, so we can really see how big that gap is. Now that's a pretty big gap, but you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about that gap closing inside of the piston. So I would say you can run that type of gap, or you can run it less. This one here was just a demonstration. I do have another set of piston rings, but that's how you can basically gap your rings with these things. So like I said, don't be too afraid that, you know, oh, my ring gap is too big, I should have never trusted him on the ring gap. Well, like I said, you know, you just want to make sure that gap is just big enough for that piston so it would not seize inside your bore of your block. Because like I said, if you run a nitrous boost, that thing is gonna seize up and it's gonna bust that piston, it's gonna bust the connecting rods, and like I said, you're gonna have a real bad race day. But you really don't want a bigger gap like that. You just want to go with a nice size gap, and like I said, that's just a formality how you can do it. So there's another Busy tip for you for the ring gapping. I'm gonna holler at you guys on the next one. I'm gonna show you tomorrow, or the next video. I ain't gonna say tomorrow, but the next video I'm gonna show you how to actually install every one of those rings on your pistons, so that way you can have your ring gaps, piston settings right on your pistons, so that way you won't have a real bad race day or a real bad day on the highway. So no further ado, that's all I got for you, players. You guys stay safe out there. Make sure you guys are staying safe and protected, washing your hands, keep yourself quarantined, and I'm hollering in your next video. Peace.